My name is Carlos Sanabria, and I'm originally from Santurce, Puerto Rico. And I decided to do this little publication on bodegas because I thought it was important to document what was a very important institution in the history of Puerto Ricans in New York City. I used to work as a researcher at the Center for Puerto Rican Studies. And one of the collections at the Center for Puerto Rican Studies is the archives of the photographer Justo Martí. Justo Martí, as it happens, was Cuban. He was born in 1899. He came to New York City in 1925 and worked as a professional photographer. One of the jobs that he did as a professional photographer was take photos for the Puerto Rican Merchants Association. And when bodega owners applied for a New York State liquor license, the application had to be accompanied by a picture of the exterior of the bodega and a picture of the interior. And he was very meticulous about keeping copies of his photos. He had photos on a lot of other topics as well. And many of the pictures of the interior show the people that were working in them. Many times there would be families. So there would be, a couple that would be working, and as well as their children. And many of the stores, had the names of the towns in Puerto Rico that the owners came from. They referred to them as Spanish American grocery. And although the word Borinquen is sometimes used, and the term Borinquen is the indigenous word for Puerto Rico, but oftentimes they wouldn't use that. They would use Spanish American grocery store. The word bodega, which is a Spanish word, has different meanings. In Spain, the word bodega is a reference to a wine cellar. The word bodega is also a reference to a ship's hull. In Cuba, the term bodega is used to denote a small grocery store. It's interesting because in Puerto Rico, the term that's used for a small grocery store is the term colmado. There were other terms that were used as well. Pulperias was a popular one in the late 19th century, early 20th century. Tiendas de raya was also a term that was used. So it's curious why in New York they're not called the same as in Puerto Rico, but they're called bodegas. As I walk around this store, what I notice really different from what I remember as bodegas is that here it tends to be much more snacks, sodas. Of course, we would have snacks and sodas in the bodega, beer, refreshments, but there's very little by way of like food, canned foods, fresh fruits, fresh vegetables. So in the bodega, we would have that. The other big difference I noticed, of course, is ATM. We didn't have ATM back in the 50s and 60s. Bodegas became important to the Puerto Rican community for a number of reasons. One of them was it was a means of upward mobility for those that could, establish them. Local bodegas would serve the foods that people were accustomed to, that they might not be able to get in other stores. They also sold on credit, so that people in the neighborhood might go and buy on credit and then just pay up their bill once a week or once every 2 weeks. Bodegas also became important as sources of information, so that people that were looking for work, they might go there and find out about jobs. People that were looking for apartments might go there and find information about getting an apartment. And in addition to selling food, sometimes they sold records, sometimes they sold utensils and other, household articles. So it was much more than just food. This seems a particularly big bodega. And I'm just struck by the number of people in the picture. And you can see behind the counter the woman, the couple that owned the bodega. Me invitó a ver la tienda porque él vio esta publicación que yo hice que es sobre bodegas. Entonces, pues él quería que yo hablara un poquito sobre la historia de las bodegas puertorriqueñas en Nueva York y quería comparar esta tienda con las bodegas de los años 50 y 60. Pero les regalo esto como un obsequio. Sí. Okay.
Sí, pero tiene que venir cuando yo haga la comida boricua de verdad.
Ok, bueno.
Mañana hago santo.
Sí. ¿Tienen tarjeta de visita? Gracias.
Ok, de nada.
Chao.
Pasa un buen día.
Gracias.
¿No quieren empanada? Venga, yo les regalo una.
Ok.
¿De pollo, de res o de queso?
De queso. Gracias.
De nada.
Okay. Yeah, one of the things I find interesting about, the pictures in this collection is the way it brings up memories and reminiscences of growing up in the city and the Puerto Rican community. Since the book was published, I've given it to various people, and they have the same experience, that is brought up memories of them growing up and their association with bodegas.